It's been a massive week in world politics with Trump being inaugurated, Theresa May talking about free movement of people, and also the Chinese talk about the new global order. What's your take on what's been talked about this week and in general in its relation to higher education?
I think in higher education, universities, great universities of the world, they survive for hundreds of years. Companies come and for-profit companies come and go, governments come and go. Universities historically have taken a long view. The second thing is, in this day of short-term focus, public pressure for financial dividends for companies and research, for research and development, universities are the only place where you can take a long-term view to gather evidence, to explore the truth and nature in many fields, whether it's humanities and social sciences or whether it's natural sciences and medicine and engineering. And so the universities have a unique role to play. At Davos, we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. All the ingredients of the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, many of those ingredients were pioneered at universities. And in fact, Carnegie Mellon has a huge role to play in each one of those areas. So if you look at the events of this week, universities are one of the few places that continue to focus on the long term, despite many short-term uncertainties. And one of the great things about the US historically has been that irrespectively of where you come from, you have an opportunity to maximize your potential, whatever that may be. And in fact, I came to the US 40 years ago as a student, and every aspect of that notion has been true in my case in terms of the opportunities that have been given to me. In fact, the fact that London elected a Muslim mayor is a good example of the British society's openness despite short-term uncertainties about Brexit and so forth. So being an optimist, my personal view is it is not uncommon at times of financial trouble that people focus on near-term things, but globalization has moved so far. It'll be hard to stop at the borders because diseases have no borders and climate change has no borders. And if we create artificial borders, we're going to be in for a surprise later. And my last point is that universities intrinsically are global and international. So take our campus. More than half of our postgraduate students come from outside the US, and a large fraction of them from Asia, primarily from China and India. And even at the undergraduate level, we have increasing numbers of students. So we have to take a global view despite the short-term concerns.
So what about for you as an American university with a Trump presidency? How are you thinking about the future?
Well, it's too early to tell because the president-elect has not articulated his policies, especially with respect to education and research funding and support, etc. I think we'll wait and see. But one of the nice things about the US is that we have institutions with extraordinary record and experience over many decades, which have played a very important role in the innovation ecosystem. Hopefully, those institutions will continue to thrive and the new government will continue to support them.
And what about this move to frown on intellect and intellectualism?
I think we've had historically, at least with the emergence of social media and the instant communication of an individual to anybody around the globe, the notion of careful editorial process for journals can easily be bypassed by an individual posting a Facebook message or an email, or in the case of scientific research, peer review process, which takes a lot of time and detail and careful thought. can be bypassed. I think one of the drawbacks we have with the technology today is that anybody can say anything they want, which gets around the world very quickly, and it's very hard to retract it, or it's hard to fight it once it's out there. And I think this is something that I know it's a challenge, not just in politics, but also in society. And unless we come up with measures to address things like this, including fake news and everything else, it's going to be a societal challenge for us.
Very final question. What are you going to remember about Davos that you're going to tell people when you get back to the States?
A number of things. I think the opportunity to, in a very small geographical area, the opportunity to meet leaders and policymakers and network with them and engage with them. Intellectually, it's very enriching to listen to the various perspectives, and also the challenges that are facing the globe, from developed nations to developing nations, meeting with heads of state, ministers. Yesterday morning I was at a session that I'm co-chairing. We had 28 ministers from 28 countries who are participating in that particular activity. Half of them were here last week. That opportunity, the convening power of Davos is quite unique. In a span of 3 to 4 days, having the ability to have that conversation with CEOs, heads of universities, etc., is quite remarkable.
Thank you very much indeed for your time.